to The Gathering 2024, where faith and sisterhood collide. Today, we have gathered not just as sisters, but as a powerful collective of faith, courage, and love. I am Hannah. I am Esther. I am Ruth. And together, sisters, we are unstoppable.
Welcome to The Gathering 2024. Sisters, make some noise! Make some noise in here. I don't know about you. I do not know about you, but I know it was not easy getting to this place, and I feel that it wasn't for all of y'all either. But for God to bring you here for this time, for this Gathering 2024, in this moment, to declare that you are unstoppable, that you are her. Y'all, get ready. Brace yourselves, and let's get this party started. I cannot guarantee that you will leave here with your lashes, that you will not be on the floor throughout this weekend, and that you won't experience God in a deep and intimate way. But just say, or don't say I didn't tell you. But you all know what time it is. You all gather with us monthly, virtually, for Dig Deeper. It's been such an amazing part of our new sister circle this year, a time where we can dive deep into the Word of God, hear from our sisters. So now we'll be able to do that together as a family. Are y'all excited about that? Woo, 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 woo. So I know y'all know what to do for Dig Deeper, so I hope you have your paperback Bibles. All right? I hope you got your notebooks. I hope you got your pens. And if you got a cool person at your table, they got highlighters, different colors, different color pens. Y'all get your stuff together. You have your pamphlets on your table. And then I'm going to let you know how the night's going to go. I like y'all keying out here. So, sisters, this is an interactive Bible study. Now, our virtual Bible studies are supposed to be interactive, but y'all don't ask no questions on the live. Y'all don't ask no questions on the webinar. So this is interactive. We will be going alongside the panel. You will fill out your sheets as you go along. We'll walk you through it. But I want you all to please put a round of applause for our amazing panelists for the evening. First, I want to bring up our very own amazing, and I hope y'all are praying for our circle pastor this weekend. It's going to be a mighty move, but y'all clap your hands, put your hands together for our circle pastor. We love you. Woo, woo. Next, big sis, who I know I irk her nerves, but I love her to life and would be so lost without her. Y'all put your hands together for our big sis from Massachusetts, our ambassador for YouTube Church, Pastor Shekinah Manigault. Woo, 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 woo. And we have a new, very special guest. Y'all put your hands together for Elder Marquita Council. Woo, 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 woo. And we just took all of YouTube. Sorry, Facebook, Instagram. We took all of YouTube for this because we love them so much. So y'all put it up for Dr. Sabrine Mudawali. And then last but not least, our sister from Texas. We love our Texas sisters so much. Adioma. Woo, 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 woo. Woo, woo, woo. Now, Jackie, don't get mad at me, but we're going to need, hello to our sisters joining us virtually. Can y'all make some noise for our sisters? Show them some love. Jackie, you'll be mad. I need one microphone for the audience. We got it. Great, great, great. Because we're going to go old school, okay? I'm going to get y'all to read these scriptures, so go ahead and get your reading voice ready. And when you read this verse, I need you to read it like the change is happening right in this moment, okay? All right? Y'all ready? Y'all quiet? Y'all ready? Crystal, can you pick a willing vessel or even an unwilling, because that's the one we need to hear from. And sis, I want you to read Esther 7, 1 through 4 on your pamphlet. The study of Esther. We're going to read the scriptures and then we'll dive deep into this panel. Will there be one? And don't make me choose. Right here in front of you, Jennifer. Jennifer will read. Thank you.
Okay, Esther 7:1 through 4. Good News Translation. And so the king and Haman went to eat with Esther for a second time. Over the wine, the king asked her again, "Now, Queen Esther, what do you want? Tell me and you shall have it. I'll even give you half the empire." Queen Esther answered, "If it pleases your majesty to grant my humble request, my wish is that I may live and that my people may live. My people and I have been sold for slaughter. If it were nothing more serious than being sold into slavery, I would have kept quiet and not bothered you about it. But we are about to be destroyed, exterminated."
That's good. That's good. We're going to start off with Esther tonight. So these sisters do not know what I'm going to ask them. So y'all make sure they behave and that they do what they're supposed to do tonight, okay? In Esther, the king said, "What do you want? Tell me and you shall have it." God has given us many glimpses of promises. Like we get glimpses of hope. But sometimes we may be bound by disbelief. Name a time where you asked and saw the promise of God for you, or a time where you asked and you had to wait. What was that like?
Then tip. Oh, okay, there it is. I'll go. Y'all can hear me, right? Yeah. All right. So I had a situation in which both happened in the same instance. So there was a time when, first of all, one of the things that really pulls me from this scripture is when she says, if it please you, right? Because I used to be very, God, if you would, please, things like that. And so there was a time when I was praying and believing that God had greater for me in terms of a job, right? But I also felt as though, was it something that I was wanting, or was it something that he was wanting, and feeling as though I needed to sacrifice. So maybe me staying where I was what was meant to be for me. And so I remember praying, and when it didn't come quickly, it was like, okay, I didn't get this one, I didn't get that one. I thought to myself, okay, maybe he doesn't desire it for me. But I felt in my heart that I had been praying to God, I had been really communing with God, and I'd been in line with God, so I knew that the desire was there for a reason. And so I couldn't shake it. I couldn't feel as though, okay, I'm praying about this and it's not happening, so I'm just not going to pray about it anymore. He wouldn't let me stop. So I kept seeking him, and I kept saying, okay, God, I'm believing this. So I just believed it to be that it just wasn't that one, right? And so I kept my hand to the plow, and I said, God, anything that comes before me that I feel you leading me into, I'm still going to try to deal with it, because I'm not going to let rejection turn me away. And I'm not going to take it personally. I just see that's not the blessing that you have for me. So when he then came through in a job that I got, it was even more than what I even thought I was going to get. And so I was in a situation to where when I heard his yes, it was then that this yes was meant to be that the reason why I didn't get the other ones, it now made sense. It wasn't so much as that it wasn't the dollar amount, but it was all that came into it in the time where he was going to be putting me in my current life and in my current situation. So I believe that his no was just preparing me for the yes and allowing me to show him that, God, even in the no, I'll still serve you. And even in the yes, I'll still serve you, because ultimately I'm just a vessel, and whatever you tell me to do, I'm going to continue to do. So, yeah.
And that speaks volumes. And no, even in the no, I'm going to bless you. I'm going to serve you, and not allowing that no to deter you, to distract you, or to hinder you, or, to build unbelief in your life of that thing that God spoke to you. Anybody else want to speak on that?
Time is, a lot of times we assume that when we talk to God that he is obligated to what it is that we have put before him. And what I've learned is sometimes he doesn't give me a yes or no. And then what do you do when he's like, now you just gotta wait? And I didn't want to talk about this. I promised myself I was not coming to the gathering to talk about this, because I'm like, I came last year with something. Now I got something else. I am in a season of waiting. We got wind or word at my secular job that on August 5th, they are going to eliminate about 500 positions. And no one knows who's going, who's staying. And so, ladies, y'all know us. I'm like, oh, man, now I got to pay this mortgage. I got to do this. I got to do this, that, and the third. And the Lord said, now where is this woman of great faith that you preach so much about, you sing so much about, you shout, you dance, you in the chat on the nudge, oh, yes, God is good. And so I've had to learn to say, Lord, even though I don't know what the outcome is going to be, I trust that you are still the God that cares about me. And so the Lord has been showing me in this past 4 to 6 weeks to not waste my wait. And many times, ladies, we waste the wait. You spend the time complaining. You spend the time vexing anyone that will listen to you. And let me just help y'all out. Social media is not your personal couch. Some of y'all need to learn to be quiet while you're waiting. It's nothing worse when you have those of us that are parents, when you are telling your children, I'm going to get to it, but then they won't just go sit somewhere. Many of us waste our wait worrying God as if God is not who he said he is. So for me, I'm in my season of waiting, but I know that whatever this season brings, it was what God planned for me. It may not have been on Shekinah's vision board. Yeah. See, this is why I said the thing about he's not obligated to what I want him to do. He's working out his purpose. He's working out his plan. And the women that we have been studying, none of these women had the things that God was unfolding before he did it. But you got to say, God, I trust you no matter what.
So I'll just add, last year this time during the gathering, my daughter was pregnant, and it was the prayer night, and I received a phone call outside, and she was telling me that the doctor was saying there was no heartbeat, and they were going to have to wait a little bit. Now, this was the second pregnancy. She had already lost a child a couple of months before. And of course, we all get in those places where we're just asking God, why? Like, why is this happening to her? She's, she's doing things right. She loves you, Lord. I love you. Why are you doing this to us? Because it was, for me, being a grandma's girl, I can't wait for that opportunity to experience and be to my grandchild what my grandmother was to me. But needless to say that even in all of that, I never stopped giving God praise. I never stopped coming and serving. I still continued to press in the wait. I didn't talk about it a lot with people because I knew who I needed to talk to. So just to say that as I sit here, she's now 7 months pregnant and due in September. And everything that is the ultrasounds, everything is going good. The baby is weighing bigger than it should, where we thought, she could never make it past 8 weeks. The last 2 pregnancies, she couldn't make it past 8 weeks. But thanks be unto God that we are going to hold. I kept saying, I'm going to hold what you promised me. So we're going to hold what he promised in September. So just in your wait, like Pastor Shekinah said, it's about how you wait. Don't complain while you're waiting. Still let God know that you believe. Still let God know that I trust you. No matter, even if I wasn't sitting in present day where she's pregnant now, God, I still trust you. It's not my timing, but it's your timing.
You got to wait well, right? You got to wait well. And the women we have been studying, they are great examples of what waiting well looks like. Right? Hannah didn't go in, and y'all know, ladies, we can get real salty. Okay, y'all want to be fake and phony today?
Yeah.
We get real salty. We get real petty. And we try to treat God like he's our boo, right? Like when your man don't do what you want him to do, you get stingy. You get a little sometimey. Right? And that's what y'all do with God, because he didn't do what you wanted him to do. You get stingy with your service. The praise and worship got to do somersaults and cartwheels to get y'all to even lift your hand because you in your feelings. You got to wait well, ladies. And when we don't wait well, it actually prolongs the process because you're missing the point. We're so focused on the minutia that we're missing the point. Timing is everything. You don't want anything prematurely. You don't want it past time, but you don't want it before time. Esther's an example of that. She went to the king when it was her time. And many of us, because we live in a microwave generation, we don't wait. We want everything, and we want it what? But you got to wait well, because things that are worth having are worth waiting for. And what God is trying to do through the women of God in this movement, it is worth waiting for.
They preaching early up here. So sisters, I don't know if you hear the same common denominator that I hear up here, but it's waiting well and serving in the know. I want you all to identify, because we all have it, I want you to identify a space, a thing, an item, a person in your life where you were hopeful of a thing, where you prayed for a thing, and it hasn't happened, but you know for yourself that you're not waiting well in this instance, or that you've I would say declined in a particular area of serving or being or acting. I want you to identify that space in your life, and then I want you to write that down in your paper. And then I want you to talk with your table in reference to the third D, where it says, determine what this verse is saying to you. So I want you to take time to talk to your table about that verse after you identify that thing in your life that you are allowing to depreciate, I would say. Yes, y'all go ahead and take your time, write that down on your paper, because I want you to take these papers home with you. I want you to sit with this. I want you to sit with the notes that you take tonight. I want you to sit with the discussion that you have at your table tonight.
You got it, sister. Every person at your table got a little bit of Bible scholar in them, okay? So let's pull it out of your sisters tonight and ask her, what do you see in this scripture? Esther 7, 1 through 4. What is it saying to you?
Pastor Lee done called y'all out, so y'all make sure there's nobody quiet at your table. Everybody got Bible in them. I'm going to give y'all 2 to 3 more minutes. I see some of y'all cooking it up at the table. If you got a silencers at your table, call them out. All right, all right, all right. Y'all got some good stuff? Whoa, y'all say something for Sunday morning. I see some of y'all going to town. Say the sermons for Sunday. All right, can I get 2? Do we got volunteers here? We got voluntoes. Okay, can you go ahead and get our voluntoes to tell us a little bit about what their table talked about? We like a voluntoe. And if you could please stand up and give us your name and where you're from.
Who put me on the mic?
And before you give your name, what you're from, you got to come show us your PJs. Work it. Work it. Y'all give it up for our store manager, Tamikia Cornigi. She said she need music. She need a theme song. She need a new theme song. No, we We want the theme song. We want the theme song. Living water. Living water. Living water. We want the living water that never runs dry. Go ahead and give us this PJ walk real quick and then tell us what your table talked about. Come on, TK. Woo, 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 woo. Hey! 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 Thank you, Nikki, and thank you, DJ Tito. Tell us what your table talked about. Oh, your name and where you're from.
Oh, my name is TK.
Hi, TK.
Hey, y'all. Where I'm from?
Yes.
Originally from Goldsboro, but I've been here for a number of years.
Nobody's from Goldsboro here. It sounds like it's crickets.
Jesus. So we talked about the heart posture in your waiting, making sure that, first of all, you're coming to God with an unselfish heart and an unselfish ask. Yes. Because sometimes these are some of the things that we want. It's what we want, yes, but it ain't what He wants. That's for right. Us. So you have to ask Him, God, if this is what you want for me. You know, I remember when I purchased my home, and the first thing I said was, don't let me get to the door and you turn me around. Yeah. If this ain't what you want for me, shut it down now. Yeah. And that was the easiest process I've ever gone through. Yeah. So that showed me that this is what God wanted for me. We also talked about not keeping silent. Sometimes, well, with Esther, she kept silent for a little while until it was the right time. Right. But once her family, now my bloodline is on the line. Yeah. And I need you. So you have to recognize who is tied to you. Yeah. So it may not be you getting out, but it may be your child. Maybe your grandchildren, your mom. So remember who's tied to you. And don't be silent. Ask. Ask Him. If it's what you want, ask. And as my grandma say, keep on asking. Keep on asking.
I knew y'all were preaching at the tables. I knew it. Do we have one more?
I heard Texas was in the building.
Texas! Woo, 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 woo. And I mean the big state of Texas. We got every corner of Texas at that table. Give it to a sister. Oh, okay.
Okay. Please don't make me show my PJs, though.
Yes, you do.
Can I just stand up?
It's a pajama party.
Come on. I just said everybody can see me. I'm real tall. Y'all, they
Come
they
on,
real,
Dr. Don.
They real basic.
Hey. Woo! Y'all look cute.
I'm just playing. I'm just playing. But our table, the stuff that we talked about, we also spoke about our heart posture, but I think we got a little bit more deeper and a little personal at our table with some things, and we talked about the certain things that we are right now in our season, what we're waiting on, and our attitude towards the things that we're waiting on. So some of the stuff, without sharing too much information, some of us are waiting on, kids for our family. Some of us are in different life transitions, and we were honestly just examining ourselves and how we're waiting in those situations. And we assess that some days we do well, other days we don't do well, and it's just like this teetering line. Or even at some points in times in our life, we might find ourselves a little envious, not on purpose, but just because we desire something so much that we, so we explored real feelings, real emotions behind these things. But at the center of everything, we realize and understand that we have to, like Pastor Shekinah said, we have to learn how to wait well. And in the waiting well, it reveals God's will for us and how we are supposed to walk things out. And when we're trusting God in the things that we're supposed to be doing, the wait looks and feels a lot different. So
that's good. That's good. That's good. Come on, Texas. Now, I had to partner our panel up to give us a little snippet of what the Lord told them. So can y'all speak about what this verse, said to you or how this verse spoke to you?
So my partner and I, there was a couple of things that we pointed out. The first was talking about the humility, the part that she humbled herself enough to ask the king the request, knowing that it was a possibility that it could be a yes, it could be a no, and if it's a no, I'm gonna die. So having that mindset going in there with, you know what, it's not about me, but it's the people that are in my family, the ones that I know, the ones that I don't know, the ones who are to come. So if I have to go up here and ask the king for this request, then I'm going to ask him. But the thing that really got us was the fact that she invited her enemy to the table. When was the last time you invited your enemy to the table? When's the last time you call them out? Right? She humbly put that request in front of the king. When's the last time you took your enemy to the king, to God? Wow. Right? And not in the way of trying to slay the giant, but in the way of being humble enough to fast and pray for them. Right? Because before she even called Haman to the table, before she even invited him to dinner, she was fasting, and not necessarily for him, but for her people. But in fasting for the people, it was also connected to him, because he was the one that, you know, I'm going to kill him, right? Was causing all the trouble. But we brought it back to say that, you know, she had to have that boldness and that courage to not just call him to the table, but have that boldness and courage to ask the king for that request. And like my sisters said about the heart posture, she had to make sure she was humble enough and lay her life down in order for her people to be able to live. It really wasn't about her anymore. It was really about her people. Did I cover everything?
Yeah, the only other thing was that there's purpose in your position. And so she was positioned in a way that would allow her the ability to go before her people, right? To go on behalf of her people. And so sometimes we could get a position and feel as though we're secure. We're in that position. It's only about me, and forget the purpose as to why God has put us there, because it's not about us individually. When God is doing a work in our lives, it's tied to others because it's kingdom related. And so we have to remember that when I start thinking about me, I can't serve me. I can't focus and be focusing on me. So to serve God, I got to serve others. I got to be mindful of who he's connected me to, and understand that it's not that these people are here to harm us or anything like that, but it could be there to position us for where he's leading us. So to remember our position and to tie it to the purpose.
Now, a lot of stuff that you all said also got me happy, because I got happy when I read that verse. And
let's talk about the note card.
Oh, don't talk about my note cards. I learned from the best. Mother Monroe told us about our note cards, all right? But the first thing, how I got excited, because God put her in a position that was restricted to her bloodline. Yeah. She shouldn't have been there. Yeah. As a Jew, she shouldn't have been the queen. Yeah. So that was already restricted for her bloodline. So when we look at the verse, when he says, tell me what you want, that verse got me excited, because that was the verse where it was like an aha moment. Yeah. If we went back to chapter 4 and 14, when he said, for such a time as this, that was that for such a time as this moment. Yeah. That was the moment that she was there for. Yeah. But that's why she was put into as a queen to help her bloodline. Yeah. So even looking at that, it was really interesting, and you used the words like bold and courageous. And even when she went before the king, because she could have talked to him the first time that she went to him in private. She didn't have to have Haman there. But she took Haman in place. She had her adversary right there. She was bold enough to say, okay, I'm going to ask. I'm going to make my request known. I think somebody said something about opening your mouth. You have to open your mouth and let your request known, because in her mouth was deliverance for her people. Yeah. So that's at that moment, it was just like a aha. That was her for such a time as this moment. So we all have those moments where we're trying to figure out why are we here? Why are we in this place? And then God reveals to us, for such a time as this. I was preparing you for this moment.
And what I love, the king already had in his mind that he was going to give it to her, whatever it was. But it was her voice that unlocked the access to it.
Yes.
He already said, I don't even care what you get ready to ask me, girl. I'm going to give it to you. Woo! Tell your sister, whatever you like, sis, whatever you like. He already made up his mind. I'm going to give it to you. But she had to unlock that access. That's exactly what you were talking about, access with her voice. And that's definitely why the enemy tries to keep us quiet. And I love this space because it gives us the boldness to know that our voices are needed and necessary in this hour. And I remember, what was it? What year was it, y'all, when we walked through the door? That access year. 22. 2. Yeah, and I do believe that many of us we may not have a door this year, but I believe there's another level of access being released to us in this space this weekend. Ma said it was 21. Thank you, Ma. I know. Give it up for our mothers tonight. They keeping us straight. But he is unlocking the access, but it can't happen without using our voices. Right. And I love what you said. And IJ, it's tied to somebody else. Right. So your silence is detrimental to your bloodline. Yes. Yeah. And to those who you are assigned to.
And even though he said you can have whatever you like, she was still humble in her request. Because she could have been prideful in that moment. And you know how we can get prideful. And we can be like, okay, well, he said we can have, this man is trying to kill us. But she was still humble in her request.
And even I'm not on this panel, but what Pastor Leah just said about the door and there being another level of access, I think sometimes you go through that door in 2021, but you didn't see what you thought you were going to see on the other side of that door. And so you sit in a space of discouragement or disappointment. But I think God is going to reignite. He's going to reignite and allow you to be grateful for the level that you surpassed, the level that you've accomplished, and to keep pursuing toward greater. Y'all talking good.
So real quick, I think because a lot of times we focus so much on the chronos time instead of the kairos. Yeah. God made chronos time for us because he knew he had to have some form of boundaries, safe space for us so that we don't be a detriment to ourselves. And because we focus on chronos time is all that quantitative, that day, that second, that hour, that season, or whatever it may be, and we are so focused on that. We are just tuned in and holding to but we got to remember that God don't live in time. He don't live in time. We got to focus on the kairos, that God-given moment, that qualitative time, that thing that is limitless, that has no boundaries. Like, God, that's the type of God we serve. And God is not the God that he is limited. We put limits on him. Right. He's not the one that's like, okay, no, you're the one that put in limits on him. You sit in here and you're like, I know he could do it, but I have this little doubt. I know I've seen him do it for you. I've seen him do it for you. And if my single sisters be real, I see him do it for my friend. I've been in enough weddings, wearing enough bridesmaids dresses and all this fancy stuff. And I see you did it for this person and see it for this person. And God, I know how this person is living, but yes, she gets a blessing. But what I had to realize is this. And Shekinah touched on it earlier. And I'm not a baker, but I know my mama's in here that bake. And they can, Mama Bynum, Mama Robin, them some baking women. Okay? But they may use timers, or some of them probably don't, because they just know when the cake is done, when it's actually right. So when they tell you don't open the oven because you're going to make my cake drop, right? You got to stop opening the oven all the time because you are so impatient trying to force God's hand on the blessing. Stop opening the oven because you letting the cake drop. And then for some of us, we forget about it. We forget about the promise, and then now it's overcooked. It done burn because we done turn our backs on it, and we turn our backs on God because we got tired of waiting. So now it's burnt. Now it's Chris. You ain't got no good cake. Now you got to start all the way over. All the way over, like Shekinah said. You got to understand that you have got to wait well. And not just wait well, but know that the reason why he is allowing you to wait, because you got to go through the process, y'all. So many of us want the promise, but don't nobody want the process. A lot of us want perfection, but nobody wants progression. Celebrate the small wins. Celebrate the small wins in order for God to continue to increase your faith. As you see this, okay, God, I prayed for 10 minutes today. I'm going to celebrate that because I wasn't praying before. Right? I'm seeking your face, God. But understanding, and I say all that to come back to know that Kairos and Chronos time, y'all, it is so different. Stop focusing so much on the Chronos time and really focusing on the Kairos, what God is trying to do in that moment and in that place where you are in this time of your life.
All right, sisters, we're going to jump over to Hannah. Turn to the second page. Oh, let's go to Ruth. That's Ruth. That's Ruth.
We on the yeah, we on the time crunch, but I'm gonna extend the time a little bit, and they're gonna fuss me out afterwards. So y'all just participate with us, okay? So I need somebody to read Ruth, and I need you to read it fast. But before you read it, I need everybody to get your pen, your highlighter. I want you to underline the words that stick out to you in that verse as this person reads it. Yes. Do we have a volunteer or a voluntold? Thank you. We got a volunteer. Read it with your chest, Kim.
Boaz asked the young man in charge of his reapers, "Who is this young woman?" The young man answered, "She's a young Moabite woman who came back with Naomi from the country of Moab. She said, 'Please let me gather grain. I will only gather among the bundles behind the reapers. So she came here and has been on her feet from daybreak until now. She just sat down this minute in the shelter.' Boaz said to Ruth, 'Listen, my daughter, don't go in any other field to gather grain, and don't even leave this one. Stay here with my young women. Watch where my men are reaping and follow the young women in the field. I have ordered my young men not to touch you. When you're thirsty, go to the jars and drink some of the water that the young men have drawn.' Ruth immediately bowed to the ground and said to him, 'Why are you so helpful? Why are you paying attention to me? I'm only a foreigner.' Boaz answered, 'People have told me about everything you have done for your mother-in-law after your husband died. They told me how you left your father and mother in the country where you were born. They also told me how you came to people that you didn't know before. May the Lord reward you for what you have done. May you receive a rich reward from the Lord of Israel, under whose protection you have come from shelter.'"
Amen. Did y'all highlight your verse? Did you underline your words? Okay, while you got your pen and paper out, take a couple of minutes, y'all. Please don't get me in trouble. Just a couple of minutes to fill out the first D. Develop an outline for each verse. So who is involved? What is happening? Why is it happening? And then I want you picked out the words. I want you to take time to define one or two of the keywords that stand out to you. Y'all got this? Y'all know y'all working as a group at the table. This is your own personal dig deeper group at your table.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Who is involved? What is happening? Why is it happening?
They let me out here. Tell me one of the words that stood out to you. I am calling people out. Be ready, okay? Tell me one of the words, or anybody at the table, tell me one word that stood out to you. I'm coming back. Y'all still deliberating. Y'all tell me one word that stood out.